How's it going, everyone? If this is your first time watching, welcome. My name is Dylan Gonzalez. I can fly tire, and this is a little mini series that I've been trying to do. Fly tying lessons, kind of helping out the newer fly tyers, maybe some youth fly tyers. So if you're an experienced fly tyer and you're stumbling across this, welcome as well. I want you to do me a favor and check the comments, see if I've missed anyone's questions, or if there are none yet, maybe add something that I might have missed. So today we're going to be talking about fly tying tools. So there is a madhouse, a plethora of, we call them lab tools, right? And it's all these little surgical instruments that we use to construct and tie flies. So today we're going to kind of go through it and share a little bit about these, what their uses are, and maybe some products that I use as well. So we're going to start with, I think, the most important thing, and that is your vise. So this is a vise that I personally tie on. It's made from Regal. And the vice's job is to hold the hook in place while you're tying flies. So in this case, it's really user-friendly. We just squeeze right here, right? And this little action opens up to which we place the hook. Vices come in a plethora of different sizes, different options, different styles. As you can see here, here's kind of a newer vise on the right. This is known as the hook jaw, and this is a brand new vise. It's an incredible vise. But yeah, I would say the vise is probably the most important part of tying these things. And if you are really, really interested in tying flies, and this is a hobby you definitely want to pursue, I would say for sure pick up a quality vise. So next in line, let's talk about this weird instrument. This is what's known as a bobbin. So as you can see, thread is actually inserted here into the hooks, and out the tip is where the thread comes out. So this is an instrument we use to tie flies. Obviously there are some hand tyers, but this makes it easier and kind of more controlled. I can kind of place wraps where I want by using this tool. So this is what we call a bobbin. Next we're going to talk about are some scissors. So fly tyers get crazy with scissors. These are renowned. These are scissors that I personally use. And what you can see is I have a bunch of different sizes and varieties and styles. This isn't too necessary for when you're just starting out. A good pair of just a standard, very fine razor scissor will work. But as you get more developed, trust me, it turns into an obsession to have a lot of scissors. This brand I'm talking about right now, Renowned, they make some of the highest quality scissors, and they stay really, really sharp. They're really, really fine. You can kind of see that. They last a long time. So not only are you getting a quality material, but it's also something that will last you quite a bit. The higher grades you go up, the better things are, and the longer it lasts. So another interesting tool we got here. This is called a whip finisher. As you can see, this is kind of a very, very standard. There are definitely newer whip finishers. This is something that I use, and I love this whip finisher. This was given to me by my dad, quite some time ago. But just about every fly you've seen me tie has been with this whip finish. This whip finisher's job is to tie the knot at the very end. So there's kind of a strategic way to use it, whether it's hooking or twisting. But basically it performs what's called a whip finish, and that is a knot that fly tyers use to secure the thread at the end of their tie. You'll also definitely want to get some tweezers. So as fly tyers are constantly manipulating materials, trying to handle things in a different way, a good set of tweezers will always, always serve you well. So highly recommend tweezers. Okay, this is called hair stacker. And a hair stacker's whole job is when you cut hair from a patch, you would separate that hair, take off all the fuzzies and under fur, and we'd place the tips in here. And by tapping this a few times and turning it sideways, all the hair would be aligned so that you're not tying with a bunch of different lengths of hair at the end of your fly. So here's an odd tool that I actually found that I use quite a bit, and this is made by Tweezer Man. But this is a little hair pick, and you can see it's really, really fine. And typically, before I stack hair, to get all the underfur and all the stuff out of the deer hair or elk hair, or whatever hair I'm tying with, to get that all out of the hair, I use this to kind of scrub and brush that rear end of it off, and it does a really good job of collecting all that stuff and serving its purpose. This is kind of a weird oddball tool here. So this is what's known as a threader. So back to talking about bobbins as we did before. When putting your thread onto, a bobbin, we could actually place this down the tube, push our thread through, and pull this out. Makes it a whole lot easier than trying to push it through this little opening. This right here is what's known as hackle. So it's hackle pliers, but it's a plunger style. And the plunger style obviously comes from the bottom. So this is used to manipulate material, right? It's a very simple tool, yet I think it's taken for granted. So when we're tying, we can obviously grab stuff with our hands, and that's fine. But sometimes dexterity on smaller insects and smaller objects is hard. So we can actually just push this up, grab it, and then manipulate it the same way we would a bobbin. So it just allows us a little bit more wiggle room. So fly tyers typically use needles, and this is what's called a bodkin. So really, really nice tool. I like to use it for, applying resins or splitting thread. But yeah, a needle is constantly being used in the fly tying world. Another thing you're going to want to buy or make, I kind of have one here that's getting worn out. This is just a popsicle stick with a little piece of Velcro on it. And this is intended for when I'm tying flies that have, kind of a fluffy part, which we would call dubbing. I can brush that out and scruff it up and pick that dubbing out to make it more buggy, I guess would be the word. So that's a very, very important tool. So in the new age of fly tying, we have UV cure resins. So this is one I personally use. This is Solarez Bone Dry. So a UV cure resin is exactly as it sounds. It's kind of just a resin, just a glue, an epoxy that goes over the casing, or basically however you want to use it on your flies. But it doesn't harden until UV light hits it. So we get ourselves a UV cure light, call them torches, and we can actually set that resin with just this. This one is here made by Zebrafly. It's honestly probably the best one I've ever used, and I've gone through a lot of these things. So yeah, that's about it. When it comes to fly tying tools, there's definitely a lot more than what I have in my arsenal. This is kind of your standard, kind of your basic setup. If you're really interested in tying flies, shoot me a message, hit me up on Instagram or in the comments of this video. And I can definitely help you maybe find a tool that you're looking for. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week.